Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. If you guys didn't know by now, I really like boss battles, and 2014 was jam-packed with them. Granted, not enough to make a top 10 list, but enough to make a top 5. We were given all sorts of deadly foes to face this year. Some epic, some challenging, some just a spectacle in their design. I love boss battles, and the year of 2014 in video games had some good ones. Now, before we begin this top 5, couple rules. I have not played every game that was released in the year 2014, and I did not fight every single boss battle that was available in the year 2014. These bosses are only from games that I have played, that I have had experience with, bosses I have beaten, and finally, this is just personal opinion. These are the boss battles, the 5 boss battles I liked the most this year. Alright, enough delaying. Draw your weapons, ready your power-ups, and make sure you saved your game, because this is the top 5 boss battles of 2014. Let the battle begin.
Now, bring me the head of this grave walker.
Claim the head yourself.
Ranger from the Black Gate. Where was your bravery when we bled your wife and gutted your son? Kill him!
Number 5. The Hammer of Sauron, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. As much as I love fighting the orc captains and orc war chiefs, and they themselves can make pretty good, kinda sorta boss battles? I mean, come on, we all love the orcs in Shadow of Mordor, but so many people fail to mention the actual bosses in Shadow of Mordor. My favorite of them being the Hammer of Sauron, the first of the Black Captains. From the beginning of the game, you want to kill this guy. He's one of the Free who helped slaughter your family. He personally brutalized you, beat Talion to a pulp. So you're just itching to get into a fight with this guy. And oh, what a fight it is. The hammer is constantly surrounded by mere Uruk grunts, which are basically just there to act as cannon fodder and help build up your combos. The hammer is invulnerable to stealth attacks and invulnerable to ranged. As a matter of fact, he has this unique ability where if you shoot him with an arrow, he'll absorb the magical energy and just throw it right back at you. No other enemy in the game can do this. Does the same thing if you use Wraith Flash, he throws the energy right back at you, making him a very unique enemy in the game. Also, as his name suggests, being the hammer, he hits hard and is aggressive as all hell. The only time he's not constantly assaulting you with attacks is when he's letting his Uruk minions attempt to chip away at your health. Speaking of attacks, the hammer has quite a few. From simple mace swings to mace slams, from a magical shockwave he can produce from his mace, creating his own dark magic shockwave around him which kills all Uruks in the area and is very similar to Talion's Wraith Flash, and entering this rage state where he starts to glow red and do extra damage. The only way to do significant damage on this guy is to use executions, which requires you to build up your combo by either hitting him a lot or killing his many minions that constantly come to his aid. Also, like any good boss battle, the hammer continuously taunts you throughout the fight. I like that in a boss battle when the boss taunts you. It makes you despise them all the more and want to finish them off all the more. As if we needed any more motivation to kill this guy. Depending on how you upgrade Talion, the hammer can either be a breeze or a real challenge. Either way, the hammer is a decent boss fight, and is just as memorable as the many Uruk captains and war chiefs you face in Shadow of Mordor.
How does your vengeance taste, Talion? Is not the darkness sweet?
Number 4. The Infiltrator and the Champion. Lords of the Fallen. When it came to Lords of the Fallen, I had a really difficult time choosing my favorite boss battle. I knew it was either going to be the Infiltrator or the Champion, but after an hour of debating with myself, I couldn't make up my mind. And seeing how this is my top 5 countdown, I think I can make one exception and put both of them in my number 4 placement. First, let's talk about the Infiltrator. Even though his name is the Infiltrator isn't really stealthy, like at all. If anything, he's almost always on the assault. The Infiltrator for his attacks has a 1-2 free hit slash combo, which can do a ton of damage if you're not blocking. Spinning blade projectiles that he shoots at you with, and will stun you for a few seconds, leaving you open for the Infiltrator to get a few free hits. Each one of the Infiltrator's legs can do a little ground slam if you're too close to them or doing too much damage to them. The Infiltrator will at times, if you're too far away from him, do a leaping slam. He'll jump high in the air and try to slam into you. And finally, the Infiltrator has the ability to lay down traps. These weird, gooey, skeletal traps, which if you get caught in, will once again stun you and keep you in place for a few seconds, allowing the Infiltrator to get in more free hits. Also at times, the Infiltrator will surround himself in traps and start regenning health, meaning you gotta be quick on your toes and on the assault when he starts doing that. Like all the bosses in Lords of the Fallen, there are a number of ways to engage the Infiltrator. Go for each one of his free legs and take the armor off, leaving him open to extra damage. But be careful, he will defend each one of those legs viciously. If you try to engage the Infiltrator in ranged combat, you'll have to look out for his blade projectiles and his leap attack, meaning you constantly have to be moving and dodging. Also, always look out for those traps. I really like the Infiltrator. I love his monstrous design. I like the arena you fight him in. With the Infiltrator, there's a good amount of versatility, a good amount of variety, good challenge, good fun, an epic boss battle. Next up, we have the boss that comes right after you've beaten the Infiltrator, the Champion. The Champion's moveset perfectly matches his design. He's a vicious, bestial brawler. His many attacks include constant jabs from his blade gauntlets, ground slams, a grab move where he does just that, grab you and then beat the snot out of you and throwing you away. Ground-based homing attacks, and finally, the Champion's infamous charge, where like so many classic enemies from so many video games, they charge at you in a straight line. And if you dodge that charge and they hit the wall behind you, they get stunned for a few seconds, allowing you to get some hits in. But with the Champion, there's an added difference and bonus to its charge attack. You have the ability to block and counter it. If you have equipped a tower shield, if you're at the right distance and have precise timing, you can use the tower shield's block ability to stun the Champion mid-charge and allow you to get a ton of hits on him. I really like that. It adds something more to this boss. We've faced bosses and heavy enemies in video games in the past who have like a charge ability that you have to dodge. But in here you can actually counter it and use it to your advantage, but only if you have precise timing, the right weapon, and are a good distance from him. I also just really like the beast-like, gladiatorial-like nature of the Champion. It really does feel like a battle, a fight for your life. And oh boy, does the Champion have an awesome, monstrous, imposing design on him. I gotta tell ya, every time he lights his arm blades on fire, I can't help but go, "Oh, that's awesome," and "Oh, that's terrifying." The Champion has versatility, variety, is a good challenge, and really good fun. Just like the Infiltrator. Both the Infiltrator and the Champion are really good boss battles, and my two favorite boss battles from Lords of the Fallen. Number 3. The Ancient Dragon, Dark Souls 2. Now, I love the boss battles in Dark Souls. I love dragons. So, put a proper dragon in Dark Souls, I'm gonna love it. In all seriousness though, I had a real hard time picking my favorite boss battle from Dark Souls 2 because there are so many good ones. The Rotten, the Pursuer, Executioner's Chariot, the Smelter Demon. A lot of real good boss battles, but overall, I just really liked the Ancient Dragon. He's different from other bosses in the sense that his attacks are so much slower. At times, it looks and feels like the Ancient Dragon is moving at the speed of a snail. But his attacks, oh, his attacks. The Ancient Dragon has only 3 attacks. He'll either try to crush you with his giant claws, try to bite you with his giant jaws, or try to burn you alive with his arena enveloping fire breath. Depending on what level your character on, the Ancient Dragon will always kill you in 1 or 2 hits. That's it. Needless to say, the Ancient Dragon can be quite a challenge. Similar to Artorias of the Abyss in the first Dark Souls, the Ancient Dragon is the boss in Dark Souls 2 that I died the most to. Your timing has to be perfect when fighting this boss. You have to get to know the timing of the Ancient Dragon's attacks, especially when it comes to his fire breath, as you will basically have to run to the other side of the arena to avoid it. So getting your timing down on when to attack, when to use healing items if you are hit, and of course, when he's going to attack, when you have to move. There is very little room for error when battling the Ancient Dragon. He may be slow, but 1, if you're lucky, maybe 2 hits is all it takes to take you down. So, at the same time, the battle with the Ancient Dragon is both incredibly tense, but the more you chip away at his health, the lower the health bar gets. You get this overwhelming feeling of satisfaction, like, I'm getting there, I've almost taken the beast down, because this guy has a huge health bar. And when you finally lay the final blow and take down the Ancient Dragon, just overwhelming satisfaction. There is genuine satisfaction and genuine bragging rights when you beat the Ancient Dragon boss battle. And finally, I just have to say, as a dragon, as the design of the Ancient Dragon, I love the design of this dragon. It looks ancient, it looks old, it looks wise, but at the same time monstrous and terrifying. I love the design of the Ancient Dragon, and I love the boss battle as a whole.
Right on time.
Well, well. So it was your presence we felt. We thought it was your father. My master is going to be so disappointed.
Nice armor.
Number 2. Zobek's Lieutenant, Castlevania, Lords of Shadow 2. It's the exact same deal in this game as it was with the first game, with the first Lords of Shadow. My favorite boss in the first Lords of Shadow was the Forgotten One, the DLC boss. And my favorite boss in Lords of Shadow 2 is once again the DLC boss, Zobek's Lieutenant. I don't know what it is that Mercury Steam does with its DLC boss battles, they just make them so good. Now, if you played the main story of Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, you know you never got an opportunity to fight Zobek's Lieutenant, which is a shame because the Lieutenant looks awesome, and he looks to have a few unique abilities, so I was kind of disappointed I didn't get to fight the Lieutenant in the main story campaign. Oh boy. was I ever so happy to find out that in the DLC Prologue Story Revelations, you get to fight Zobek's Lieutenant as the final boss. And oh boy, is he a boss battle alright. He has a vast array of different melee attacks with his sword, from several slashes to a deadly jab. He also has a vast array of magical abilities to use, such as teleportation, energy blasts, energy waves, this AoE attack which you only have a few seconds to get out of the way from. Also, the Lieutenant is fast. Fast in attacking, fast in dodging, and fast in kicking your ass if you're not careful. If there was ever a boss that required you to use all your light and dark magic, this is it. I also just absolutely love the animation between Alucard and the Lieutenant when Alucard counter and parries an attack of the Lieutenant. I'm a sucker for sweet combat animations, and I just love that. The Lieutenant also has a few moments where if you damage him enough, he will do one of two special attacks. One where he will light the floor on fire and you will have to use your Bat Teleport to teleport from tiny platform to tiny platform as each platform starts falling down when you get on one. And the Lieutenant's second special attack is this massive AoE energy attack that you will have to transform into wolf form, get through the energy blast before it hits Alucard, and if you're lucky, you'll be able to get a few free hits on the Lieutenant. Finally, after an epic struggle, when the Lieutenant's health is down to the wire, he will start performing a regeneration spell, propping himself up on a chandelier above you, and start regaining all his health back. Now you have to be quick here before he does that. Bat teleporting up to the chandelier, using your wolf spirit form, jumping over to the Lieutenant's chandelier, and then finishing him off. Zobek's Lieutenant is just a great boss battle. It's great fun, great challenge. It's flashy, it's epic, and I just love the design of Zobek's Lieutenant, and I'm so happy I was finally able to fight the Lieutenant in Revelations. Just a great boss. And before I reveal my #1 favorite boss battle of 2014, time for a quick recap.
Into the darkness, we are one. Into the darkness, we almost run. Into the darkness, we'll burn light. Into the darkness, we almost fight. We almost fight.
And my #1 favorite boss battle from 2014 is all the dragons in Dragon Age Inquisition. Yes, I know I'm cheating again here, but again, it's my top 5, and I can't choose between any of the dragons. The dragons in Dragon Age Inquisition are freaking awesome. Just look at them. The way these dragons are animated, they look and feel like real creatures. They are so well animated. The great texture quality and sound design helps too. And the music accompanying each of the dragon boss battles makes the encounter feel epic, feel grand, feel big. And as for each of the dragons themselves, they are a huge variety. There are lightning dragons, ice dragons, and fire dragons. However, each one of them has their own stats, a unique ability or two, different behaviors, and even sizes. You can notice dragon by dragon that they vary in size. As for the attacks, the dragons attack as you expect a dragon attack, biting at you with its jaws, swiping at you with its back and front claws, slamming you with its tail, creating a whirlwind with its massive wings, and of course using their fire, ice, or electricity breath to annihilate you and your party. There's just so much when it comes to fighting dragons. There's so much content and variety and versatility in how you engage the dragons, what equipment you bring, what party members you bring, and what equipment you put on them. Finding the balance between what ranged characters to bring and what melee characters to bring when engaging a dragon. Using Dragon Age's tactical mode to plan out your strategy when engaging a dragon. Do you have your party members go for the head while you hack away at its limbs, or have each one of your party members go and attack an individual limb of the dragon? Because you can do that. You can damage and attack the individual limbs of the dragon, and once you damage a limb enough, it will start bleeding. The dragon will start to move slower, and overall stats will go down. And if you damage all 4 of its limbs, if you get all 4 limbs bleeding, the dragon will fall to the ground for a good minute or so, allowing you to get some free hits on it. And of course, the designs. The designs of these creatures are magnificent. The coloring, the design of the scales, the heads, the bodies, just the design of these dragons are magnificent and awe-inspiring to look at. I love dragons. I've always loved dragons. And Dragon Age Inquisition nailed it. They nailed dragon boss battles. I love the dragons of Dragon Age Inquisition, and all of them, from Sandy Howler to Ferelden Frostback, from Abyssal High Dragon to the Lyrium Dragon. I love them all. And those were my top 5 favorite boss battles of 2014. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It helps me, helps the video, helps everyone involved. If you hit that like button, please leave a comment in the comments below about what you thought of these bosses, what you thought of my choices, and what were your favorite boss battles of 2014. Let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, just stumbled across this video and are looking to see some more good old video game content from a guy who loves video games, please subscribe to help me out and keep up to date with new content. Anyways, this is the Gamertron, this has been a video, and I will see you guys later.